In this video, I'm going to share the truth about self-sabotage when it comes to building your health coaching business. This is something you are definitely going to want to understand because self-sabotaging behaviors are the biggest thing that make the difference between you getting the results you want in your coaching business versus you not getting the results you want in your coaching business. And I have been a business mentor for the past 10 years to coaches and healers. My name is Dr. Kristin Hartjes. I am a former chiropractor turned health coach turned business mentor. And through my own experience and through working with hundreds of other coaches, I have definitely seen the role that self-sabotage plays in our business and have noticed that the people who get the quickest results when it comes to building their business are the people who are self-sabotaging themselves the least, and the people who it takes a very long time to build their business. Usually what's going on is they just aren't taking the actions that they need to take to build their business because there's a lot of self-sabotaging behavior going on, okay? So what is really going on? Why do some people sabotage themselves and some people do not? And I want to talk about this in this video. I think it's really, really important to understand because there's a lot of misconceptions about self-sabotage, a lot of shame around self-sabotage. And in reality, it's something that all of us as human beings do. And there's a good reason why. Okay, I'm going to share this in this video. And the other thing I want to bring up is I do specialize in working with people who are introverts and people who are highly sensitive. And we are more likely to fall into, I would say, the trap of self-sabotage, perhaps more likely than other people. And I will share a little bit about why that happens as well. So what are self-sabotaging behaviors? What are the big ones that show up for us when it comes to building a business? I know them well because I see them over and over and over again. And like I said, I am no stranger to self-sabotage. Like, this is something that I've been doing my whole life, right? As most of us have. For some of us, it's a bigger problem than for other of us. And like I said, I do find if you're highly sensitive and an introvert, like, it just seems to show up more. Usually because we're dealing with a life where being an extrovert and not being sensitive is more conducive to living in today's society, is just what it comes down to. Okay, so for those of us who are introverts, highly sensitive, we have to kind of protect ourselves from the things that maybe aren't as aligned for us. And a lot of times it leads to what could be called as self-sabotage. Okay, so what are the most common sabotaging behaviors that I see when it comes to building a business? They are perfection, procrastination, forever being stuck in the trap of learning more, having more knowledge, having more certifications. You know who you are, okay? You're the one with like 500 certifications. You're like, I just have to take another course. I don't know quite enough yet. And after I do, I will feel ready. Okay, that's you. People who get stuck in analysis paralysis, overthinking, indecision, okay, like never making decisions because you're getting stuck in overthinking and analysis paralysis. Addictive behaviors can show up. So like overeating, over drinking, shopping, social media. Hello. This is like a huge one. Yes. Okay. Hiding. Okay. Can be self-sabotage. Those are some of the big things I'm really showing up. Are any of those resonating with you? Do any of those show up for you a lot? Like, just kind of check in with yourself. What are the big ones that show up for you? So I want to talk about like, okay, why do so many people sabotage themselves? Like, why are we doing this? And I mentioned this in another video briefly, but I'm going to go into it and like really explain what's going on. So there's something called the window of tolerance. Dan Siegel is the one who came up with this terminology and really described this. So there's this window where when we are living within this window, we're taking actions, certain things are happening within this window. Let's say, between these spots in my hands, our nervous system is regulated. And when I say regulated, it means your nervous system is in rest and digest. It's in the parasympathetic mode. So in the parasympathetic mode, we are able to access our higher functioning part of our brain, which is where we're able to make decisions, where we're able to be creative, where we're able to actually build a business and interact with other people. So when we're in the parasympathetic mode, we're able to do those things. So what happens when we go outside of this window of tolerance, which means doing things that are triggering our nervous system, is that we go into the sympathetic nervous system, which means fight or flight, right? We're trying to get away from a bear. We're trying to, maybe even hide, or you're trying to get away, right? You're trying to protect yourself. And so when we are in the sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, we are not able to access our cognitive functioning, which means you are not able to be taking action to build a business or to interact with other people, or like literally that part of your brain gets shut off and you are in survival mode. This is a lot of times where like addictive behaviors show up. You're almost like unconsciously doing these things, okay? No one's like, I want to go and procrastinate, or I want to go and eat a whole box of cookies, whatever it is. Like these behaviors are unconscious because your body is trying to protect itself. It's in fight or flight, right? And you're not then able to use our cognitive reasoning, higher functioning brain. It's just like subconscious behaviors going on. So when you are doing self-sabotaging, that's why I don't really like calling it self-sabotaging, because your body is actually doing it to try to protect itself. It has good intentions, or your mind, like it's kind of your subconscious mind is trying to protect itself, is trying to prevent you from being in danger, okay? So it's really like your body has good intentions, or your mind has good intentions, but obviously it's not helping us get to where we want to go when it comes to our business or other things in our life that we're trying to accomplish. So these behaviors are happening in the moment. They're not thinking about the future and what you want to accomplish. So anytime these behaviors are popping up, like procrastination or analysis paralysis or whatever, like it's not thinking about like, oh, if I do this now, like it's going to stop me from building my business. It's just thinking about, in this moment, how do I protect myself from this uncomfortable feeling of, potentially failing or potentially getting criticism or whatever it is that we are afraid of happening. That is why these behaviors are showing up. So I think it's really important to understand that it's happening because your nervous system is not regulated. You're in that fight or flight. Your body's trying to protect yourself. And these behaviors are showing up as ways of coping with this, either getting yourself back into a regulated system or preventing things from happening that your mind is afraid of happening, right? So let me know if that's making sense. I think it makes a huge difference because there's so much shame around self-sabotage. And it's like, why am I doing this to myself? Why do I keep stopping myself from doing this? And when you understand this and why you're doing it, and truly it makes sense, you can appreciate your little saboteur, let's call them, because they're trying to protect you, right? They're trying to protect you. But ultimately it's not going to lead you to the end results that you want. It's only protecting you in the moment, but it will prevent you from getting the long-term results that you want in your life. So short-term, our saboteurs are protecting us. Long-term, preventing us from creating what we want in our lives. So we need to be aware of that, okay? So how do we deal with this? One thing is we need to widen this window. So there's going to be a lot of actions that you have to take to build your business, to get visible, to come out from hiding, that will be outside of your window of tolerance, especially for those of us who are introverts or highly sensitive. We often have a smaller window of tolerance. So we need to work on growing this window. And a lot of times how we work on growing that is actually by doing some of those actions in a safe way and having the right support that helps us start to grow that window, okay? We also need to understand how to, when our nervous system is getting unregulated and being triggered to go into sympathetic, how do we bring our nervous system back into the sympathetic mode? A lot of this has to do with like self-care things, right? Like eating right and meditating if you want to meditate, and getting exercise and activity, and the things that we need to do to make our nervous system function at its best. But there's also like maybe specific things that you can do personally that will help you. And that's kind of trial and error and figuring that out. But a big thing is having the support to work on widening that and being able to step outside of that window of tolerance without getting triggered, right? So we need to work on that, because otherwise, if you're like, I can never go outside of that, this is what happens why a lot of people quit, because they keep going outside of this window to take action in their business, and their nervous system is getting triggered and they don't want that to happen. So instead of working on widening this window so that they can go outside of that and build their business, they think, oh my gosh, like I can't do this. I don't want my nervous system to be regulated. I'm just going to quit my business. And what's unfortunate is you're missing out, obviously, on something that you really want, and on probably a lot of things that could be really fulfilling and for you if we work on widening that window of tolerance a little bit for you. The other thing that's really important is working on building your confidence and your clarity and around like the triggers and understanding why they're happening, so that you don't have to keep avoiding them. If you understand like, oh, I'm procrastinating because I'm afraid that if I don't do this right, or if I may not get the results I want, or I may not get the feedback I want. And so I'm avoiding doing that thing because of the results I'm afraid of happening, right? Like if we start to understand these things a little bit more, it takes away some of the fear, and you have a better, like I said, kind of clarity around what's going on. And we can look at, where are these patterns and habits coming from, so that we can start dealing with them. The other thing that's really important is having a very supportive community and I think support system while you're going through and doing these things, so that one of the things that really helps us regulate our nervous system is being around other people who have regulated nervous systems. It's truly the number one most important thing. It can be very hard to regulate our nervous system when we are alone. And this is why isolation is truly a killer. Like, is one of the things that has the biggest negative impact on our mental health and our physical health. Isolation, because our nervous systems are meant to be co-regulating with other people. So we really need that supportive community, especially when it comes to building our business, when our nervous system is getting dysregulated, so that we can come back and have that place and that community to help us regulate our nervous system. Okay. So I'd love to hear from you. Do you find that you are someone that self-sabotages yourself when it comes to building your business? How is it showing up for you? Let me know in the comments below. Is this resonating with you? Is this resonating as far as understanding why you are sabotaging yourself, why you are doing these behaviors. Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful and you're really resonating with what I'm saying, you're interested in working together and getting support with building your business, you can fill out an application to find out more about working with me. I would love to connect with you and see how we can possibly work together to build your business. I will put the link to apply below this video. And I want to thank you so much for joining me in this week's video, and I will see you next time.